What's up, everybody? It's Jeff with Jeff West Properties, your host for the Conroe Living Channel, where we identify and celebrate everything that makes Conroe, Texas one of the best places in the nation to live. Now, one thing we're very proud of in Conroe is our beer scene. We have several breweries in town, and we're going to go check them out today. It's time for a pub crawl. I have a lot of ground to cover and a lot of beer to drink, so I'm hitting the doors of our first location as soon as they open. Our first stop is Southern Star Brewery. They've got a great setup for outdoor activities, but there was nothing going on today, so I headed upstairs to the tap room. This facility is huge, and they do tours 2 times a day on the weekend. The tour guide's actually a good friend of mine from high school, so if you decide to take it, tell him Jeff sent you.
I know people.
Unfortunately, no tours for us. We got too many places to go and too many beers to drink. Southern Star has 12 craft brews to choose from, including their signature that made them famous, Bombshell Blonde Ale, which is now being carried in 8 different states, mostly in the South, and Ohio for some weird reason. In the back, they have a merch table. You could buy a shirt in case you spill beer on the one you're wearing, so that's pretty smart. But today I'm sticking with the Oktoberfest theme and ordering the appropriately named Oktoberfest. Cheers. So as we raise a glass to Southern Star, it's time to head on down the road to our next location. This time, we're headed downtown. Downtown Conroe has become quite the hotspot for nightlife, with live music happening pretty much every day of the week and bars woven in and out of the historic buildings. One of those buildings is the Gentry Building. The Gentry is now 111 years old and was the first building built after fire wiped away most of downtown Conroe in 1911. Throughout its history, it's housed everything from the local newspaper to the district attorney's office. And now, it's beer. Welcome to Fass Brewery. First of all, the interior of this place is amazing. It's designed to mimic the time period the Gentry Building was built, so it's got all this exposed brick and custom millwork. It actually reminds me a lot of the French Quarter in New Orleans and all the bars out there. Now, it's not totally antique. You still have your flat screen TVs where you can watch the Texans and drink and cry because they suck. This place seems like a great spot for regulars. It's pretty chill. You can just kind of kick back, read some books about beer while you drink beer, so that's pretty meta. Oh, and there's merch, because nothing's more important to early 1900s society than promotional t-shirts. And what we came for, beer. So once it's made, it transfers from these vats to the 5-barrel serving tanks that are right behind the bar, so you know that it's going to be incredibly fresh. Today I'm going with a beer that's named after Conroe's nickname, Miracle City Pilsner. Cheers.
Beer.
All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break from beer. We're still in downtown, but now we're going to try something I've never tried before, mead. We're going to a little place called the Ferm. Mead is widely considered the world's oldest alcohol, dating back to before the pre-Neolithic era. It's basically honey and water that's been fermented. It's been written about extensively throughout history, with ancient writers like Aristotle singing its praises.
Yo, that stuff's tight.
The base of mead is water and honey that's been fermented, and then they add different ingredients to it. I really like the feel of this place. Open ductwork, reclaimed wood, a lot of exposed brick. Again, it reminds me of the French Quarter. This is definitely a place I would choose as a hangout spot. I think I counted 18 different kinds of mead on tap, but I'd already had a couple of beers and I'm not that good at math, so maybe not. It's one of many live music venues downtown, so of course there's a stage. It's pretty tight, so the bandmates have to be either really close or really small. And of course you can't have mead without merch. I believe Aristotle wore one of these. They had flavors like jalapeno and apple pizer, which they described as apple pie in a glass, but I didn't want to mix my buzz with a sugar rush, so I went with something more traditional. Now, confession to make, this is actually my first time to try mead. Never had it before, and let's see how it goes. Pretty good. So for an alternative to the beer scene, this is definitely a place worth checking out. I'm 100% coming back here to check out some more meads. They make me feel like a Viking. I've got one more stop before I call it a day. Okay, we've reached our final destination, our pub crawl. So to bring it on home, let's hang out with a few of our closest friends at B-52 Brewery. This place was packed. People were parking as far as a mile away. I never got the official story, but it was some kind of fall festival. Even though the food trucks were out en masse, they couldn't keep the lines down because it seemed like they were feeding half of Conroe. Here's me explaining the situation, even though I forgot to turn my mic on. The joys of being a one-man crew. But basically, I think I was saying, wow, there's a lot of people here. I probably said something really funny too, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Several people were getting a jump start to Halloween, so they showed up in their very best costumes. I mean, I guess they're their very best costumes. I've never met them. Here's some more people having a great time. I mean, I think they were. Warrior princesses don't smile. I think that's what that was. At B-52, you've got your choice of bars. You can either hang out outdoors in the beer garden, or you can head inside to the temperature-controlled tap room. Today, the lines were about the same at both. I counted 25 drinks on tap. You've got all your typical beers, your stouts, pilsners, IPAs, a big selection of sours, but you also have wine, ciders, and mead. I think I'm sticking with the Ferm for all my mead needs, or my meads. All the barrels are stored inside and they come with pointy little hats, so that's fun. And of course, no brewery visit would be complete without stopping by to check out the merch. Merch. Shirts! I'm beginning to think that you can't actually drink at a place without buying the shirt to prove it. I'm still going to buy them all, though. Now, I had no designated driver, and I wanted to be responsible, so I decided to sit this round out. Luckily, I ran into a client who was hanging out with some of her friends, so they drank in my honor. They didn't say that, but I like to make it about me. After that, I said Auf Wiedersehen to my friends, and I hope none of them were German, because that sounded terrible, and made my way back to the car. Hard to believe, but our tour was over. And just like that, our Oktoberfest pub crawl has come to an end. Thank you for joining me on this Conroe Brewery tour. You can buy the next round. Hey, if you'd like to learn more about one of the fastest growing cities in America, Conroe, Texas, make sure to subscribe to the Conroe Living Channel. See you on the next one.